All right, everybody, what's going on? It's Alex once again in another episode of the EOT News Flash. This is episode 108. What master do you serve? And today of all days, on a Tuesday, Wizards of the Coast decided to unveil the entirety of Core 2020. We'd gotten a couple of cards. We had 100 and probably a little bit over 200 up until today when they decided to say, you know what, screw it. Let's not wait until Friday when they usually do these things. Let's just let all of them out. Everything's out on the board now. And that means I get to start writing show notes for the set review, to start recording that tomorrow. Even though the pre-release isn't for another week and a half. I just want to be ahead of the game, guys. And holy crap, I'm so tired. I mean, we just finished with Modern Horizons. Like, it took a little bit longer to get that review out because I wanted to get really into the details of that set and find the cool interactions within Limited, find the cool interactions for Modern, and really get my head around wrapped on that set. And it's like, we open the door, it's like, hey, Modern Horizons is here, everybody! And then immediately, Core 20, like, rolls up behind it with, like, a keg and, like, kicks Modern Horizons right in the ass out of the doorway and rolls us ready like, guys, I'm here too. And it's just like, oh my god, the fire hose of Magic just doesn't ever stop, it seems. Especially during the summer, when, like, last year, I'm pretty sure I made a video about this this time last year, where we had, like, Conspiracy 2 coming out, or whatever the set was. God, it feels, I don't even remember now. Like, it was, Battle Bond, that's what it was. Battle Bond, like, hit, like, days after the master set for that year, and it doesn't seem to stop. And golly, it makes my life very exciting because I get to talk about Magic cards a lot, but man, you never just want to just stop and smell the booster packs, right? Yeah, anyway. So, what master do you serve? You know, there's that great scene in Avengers Infinity War where Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Peter have met the Guardians of the Galaxy on Ebony Maw's spaceship, and they're, like, trying to figure out, should they kill each other? Should Iron Man blast Drax in the face with his plasma cannon? You know, who's going to get shot first? And Doctor Strange asks Peter Quill, Star-Lord, what master do you serve? He's like, Jesus? You know, and what I'm getting at here with this quote and the theme for tonight's episode is, like, what on earth is the point and the target of Core 2020? Yeah, it seems to be 15 different directions from Sunday, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. So, when Core 2019 came out last year, it really re-energized the sort of, like, what I would consider to be the introductory Magic environment. You know, we hadn't had a core set since Magic Origins, which was, you know, about a good 3-4 years prior to that. And to see the set come back was really great because what the core set has and always done is to introduce new players to Magic. The sets are simpler keywords, simpler mechanics. You don't have 4,000 planeswalkers, even though this one has 7, you know, whatever. It's a simpler Magic experience, and it's a good way to get players introduced into Magic. You know, all of the keywords have their reminder text on them, so if you don't know what haste is, you get that. Well, card room, you know, obviously available. Some of these cards have, like, the Cavaliers here, which are just, like, freaking amazing. All have, you know, a book and a half worth of text on them, but they can't fit, you know, the rules text for flying and breach on them, which I think is kind of funny. Anyway, I guess none of them really have the like protections here, you know. I guess it's, you know, some of them have the text, but not all of them. God, there's 280 cards in this set. When do you find time to do this, Alex? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Anyway. So there's a simplicity to a core set. I think that should be first and foremost what we're going with here. There should be, you know, good cards for constructed, a good limited format, And then, if they sprinkle in a couple other things, for the Commander crowd, the Modern crowd, that's sort of secondary, tertiary, if you will, to what I think the primary function of a core set is. And the first one that they really talked about, there is a great article over on the Mothership, Core to the Point, which was released, I want to say last week, with the first spoilers coming out for Core 2020. And it really talked about how they wanted to fix limited for Core 2020, because Core 2019, while being a pretty solid limited environment, had some very insular themes. Blue-white artifacts and green-white enchantments, for instance, if you were in that, you couldn't really be in anything else. You couldn't do like a blue-red artifact deck if you were a green-black enchantment. There wasn't enough wiggle room to go into a different direction. So if you went deep on pack 1 on a certain archetype and got cut out, all of a sudden your blue-white deck turns into something pretty anemic because it doesn't have its core fundamental mechanic available to you. Well, typically, you can draft a green-red aggro deck, that might not have that set's keyword specifically in it, but it's still a decent deck. And that's what they're trying to fix here. And so what they're doing by sort of refocusing the sort of the color spread in this set by taking inspiration from the wedge color combinations from that we first saw in Khans of Tarkir. Well, not most recently saw in Khans of Tarkir, so Jeskai, Sultai, Mardu, Abzan, and Temur, by saying, for Jeskai, for instance, so blue-white is a flyer deck. Blue-red is an elemental deck. Blue-red, and then white-red is sort of like elemental flyers, and it can kind of shift, either direction. Your color combination is easily able to dip into the other color sort of shtick, if you will. So your blue-red deck can be a little bit flyer, be a little bit elemental. Your red-white deck can be a little aggressive and a little bit elemental, because it's all of a sudden it's pulling from like the Mardu side of the pie. And that's a really cool idea, and it really exemplifies that they're trying to fix that that problem that was not super prevalent in Modern in 2019, but was definitely a thing. I drafted a ton of blue-white decks in that format, and very rarely did I get to pull off like what I consider to be a true blue-white artifact matters deck. And so to really drive the point home, scrolling, there we go. We've got 5 new legends in the wedge colors. So we've got a new Kalia, we have this new Kethis guy who cares about legendaries, Kai Kar, who's going to be this ridiculous storm commander, Omnath, Sad Omnath, and then Yorick, the Desecrated. These sick legendary creatures that, basically exemplify kind of what that color wants to do in this format. And for the most part, they've done a pretty good job of really honing in on that. And, and of course we've got, there's Riene, who's a buy box promo, and Naya colors. Super random. I don't know why that thing exists, but that's beyond the point. All of the uncommons that we have here in gold, which, I'm of a split mind about now, after seeing, what they had to do with Modern Horizons. I don't think that set needed an on-wheel sort of like, this is what your deck needs to do if you're in blue-white sort of direction. But these are good for core sets and normal standard sets for the most part, I think. These are all obviously very on theme, and, we can see that there's going to be, like we look at like Risen Reef and Lightning Stormkin, they're both elementals. So that tells me, or that should tell you, that you can kind of, wander a little bit if you need to. And we can go up in here to Creeping Trailblazer. It's also an elemental, so you can kind of go, however which way you need to. Empyrean Eagle has flying. Sky Knight Vanguard has flying. So you kind of see the overlap there, which is what 2019 was lacking in that article I mentioned to you. So that's fix 1. And, it's really good to have like these sort of like marquee cards of mythic rarity here with is what they call that specifically in another article, when core and commander combine, I think is what it was called. Yeah, combined. Because you don't want to have your new player, like let's say that you're Johnny Kid off the block. You go into your first pre-release, you open your first pack, and it's Yarok the Desecrated because it's a rare. Like you see this thing often, and they're like, what the hell do I do with this? So putting these things at Mythic, but making them be sort of pillar cards that sort of show off a lot of what this color combination is wanting to do in this format, for the most part, having them at Mythic is really important. And also it's good for Commander, which they do call out in that Core Commander combining article and saying, we're really trying to make sure that there's something here for the Commander crowd as well. And they definitely do. So we have all 5 of these legendary creatures. We've got Rienne, the buy box promo. There's a ton. The Scrylands are back, which are also, great Commander staples. We rip right back to the top of the screen again, and we check out, we've got these, they're calling them iconic creatures in mono color. So we've got Sephara, Atemis, Villas, Drakuseth, and Gargos. What the hell is with these names? It's giving, there's always a legendary, there's always a rare angel, a rare dragon in a core set, but just giving them more of an identity is kind of cool to push more this Commander theme here, which, great, but at the same time, are we pulling too many threads apart? And then to compound the problem even further, the ley lines are back. Now, of the 5 of these, 2 of them, Sanctity and Void, are pushing $30 and $50 respectively in Modern. So obviously these are Modern staples right here. Leyline Anticipation is in a majority of blue Commander decks as well. So we're pushing really, really hard, from multiple angles, which is, when I do this to, illustrate the point of a core set being kind of all over the place, this is what I'm talking about. We've got cards that specifically are for Commander, specifically are for Modern, specifically are for limited environments, and specifically are for Standard. There's a lot of really good cards in this set, and I know I'm not right. I know that I'm not right, that going in multiple directions is bad. 280 cards gives you a lot of room to do a lot of different things and appease a lot of different people. But I still have to wonder, to your average Magic player who gets to play in maybe a draft every once in a while, gets to do a pre-release usually, and that's about it for their Magic, in-store experience, when they go open these cards, is it a little bit too much? I don't know. I don't think that it is, but I definitely have to wonder, going from Core 19 into this, you can tell that they have turned the dials up in several regards to just, who all and what masters this set is serving. The Commander players, the Modern players, everybody gets something out of this set, which is great, but maybe it's too much. I don't know. Probably isn't, but, something to think about. And on the other, I briefly touched on this a little bit to begin with. We just wrapped up Modern Horizons. It just got kicked out of the door, and Core 2020 just shows up, saying, hey, don't forget about me, guys. And then, literally weeks away, we've got Commander 2019 product coming out, and then, or is it 2020 product, whatever it is. And we've got like Gideon's Spellbook, and then we've got the fall set, which is some kind of Kaldheim thing. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. There's just so much coming into Magic in the next couple of weeks. Summer's a wild time for Magic. There literally is something for everybody. War of the Spark kicked off this summer, kicked off, sort of like the pre-summer season where, it was just the wackiest Magic set for everybody. Everybody got something out of that. Then Modern Horizons came right after that to just keep the tempo and the hype machine running. And now we're here with Core 2020. Commander players get their dose of reality, spoon-fed to them in a few weeks. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. But there's just so much coming. And if like I said, if you're a Magic player who is on a budget, most of us are on a budget when it comes to Magic. You got to pick and choose, and some things you just can't get, and that's kind of a bummer too. So I've always wondered, how does Magic, how does Wizards space out the release schedule of these things? And I truly don't know if there's a good way to do that. By the way that they treat, some of their products. Obviously, you have your core standard sets, and then they have to kind of sprinkle everything in else around it. So maybe the solution is to have less product. Maybe the solution is to, just spread things out just a little bit more and just let everything get a chance to breathe, so that way, we were getting spoilers for Magic 2020 before Modern Horizons was actually legal in paper. Like, it's so wild that there's literally no time to really appreciate anything. I was looking forward to doing a couple Modern Horizons videos, but there's this to worry about now, and there just aren't enough days in the week, hours in a day, to do all this content that I love to do for you guys, because I want to make sure that I'm up to speed with you. I'm up to speed with the rest of the Magic community, and I'm on track with other things. So what is a self-respecting, celebrated Magic YouTube content creator supposed to do? Is I have no idea. Maybe I quit my job and I just do this full time. That's a terrible idea, actually. Don't do that. We'll be diving into Core 2020 probably tomorrow night. I actually stopped writing notes just so I could do this off the cuff, because as I was going through it, I just kind of got this overwhelming feeling of just, fatigue is the best word I can use to describe it. And I really started thinking about, this whole, multiple points of entry for this set. That's a weird way to describe it, but multiple reasons for the set to exist. It's serving so many masters with the ley lines, the legendary creatures, the Skrylands, even to an effect. There's so much going on with this set that it can be a little disjointing. But here we are. I mean, oh yeah, and I can't not talk about Rotting Regisaur. Yes! I had a really dumb video about just this card. It was like, I wanted to be like make it like a meme. It was, apparently I can't do memes. I don't do memes well. I'll just admit that right now. If there's one great failing that I have, it's that I don't do memes very well. And it was bad, and maybe I'll post it later, but it had like Jurassic Park theme ready. I had like Godzilla stomping noises. Like, this card just inspires just the nonsense in all of us, and the card's amazing. But yeah, before I get too far off track, I do have show notes to get back to. But I did want to share sort of this rant with you guys, and I apologize if it's been a little bit discombobulated. So much more coherent content coming to you this week in the form of a very structured and analytical set review for Core 2020 from a limited perspective. Yes, that's right. So, thank you so much for watching and listening to me rant tonight, guys. It does mean a lot, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as you have to do, as I have to tell you and implore you to do, because this is YouTube. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Is there too much Magic right now? Does the water hose need to be just tapered back just a little bit? Going from one set release to the next, does it ever give you a chance to really breathe and appreciate what's being given to us throughout the year? Do you skip any of this for that very reason? I'm curious to know. So let me know down in the comments, guys, and we'll see y'all later this week. Magic Core Set 2020 limited set review coming at you very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night.